Hi Sandra,
Hi, how you going?
how are you?
Good.
Good. Everyone's well?
Yeah, everyone's good. Just nice and busy.
Good. Well, I wanted to call you because naturally we are heading towards the end of Brendan's lease date in your property. And I just wanted to discuss with you sort of plans for the future for the property. So
Okay.
naturally, at the end of any sort of lease period, we have to discuss with both you and our tenant where everyone's at. So I guess I'll start by saying, as far as we're concerned, with Brendan as a tenant, we think he's been a pretty good tenant. He's managed to keep your property in what I would consider good condition. We discussed the property during that routine inspection. There were a couple of things, the hole in the lounge room wall, which we got rectified. But apart from that, from what we've seen across his time in your house, he's maintained the property, he's kept it clean, he's been a good tenant, and as far as I'm concerned, he gets a tick.
Okay, so there hasn't been any issues with him?
No
in terms
issues.
Of payments or anything like that?
Yeah, good question. So he's paid all of his rent on time. He missed one water bill, which we chased him up on, and he paid immediately. So as far as his history goes, I would say he's very good.
Okay, great.
So all the rent's been paid on time. Never had any issues. Always very polite to deal with. And I'm sure you remember we had the cockroach situation after 9 weeks.
Yeah, it
Again,
feels like a long time ago.
It does.
Now.
And I know he was just new then, and I know it felt a little bit like he was going to be a demanding tenant, but in fact that's the only time he's ever asked anything of us.
Okay.
So yes, he has been a good tenant. Now his expiry of his lease is up in January at the end of this month.
Okay.
And so we just wanted to talk about a few things. Now, of course, you and I have discussed over the journey the rent.
Yes.
As we know, he's paying $1,200 per week.
Yes.
How do you feel about that as a per week rate, just off the top?
It's good. But if the tenant is meeting his obligations, which it sounds like he is, we would be happy to extend the term for another 12 months if that's what he would like on his end.
Mm-hmm.
However, we would like to increase the rent by $10 per week.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's possible with keeping him in there and he's happy to do that, or whether we need to get a new tenant in there. But for us to be able to do that, what can I do to the property so that we can increase that $10 per week?
Yeah, no, that's good. So there's a couple of little things that we, in that routine inspection, I talked about a little lick of paint here, a couple of little nicks in the walls. There's little things that we could definitely do that I think would make it worthwhile. And I think it's a sign to him as well that you're in good faith, that you are trying to keep the property in great nick, as well as he doing the same thing in return. Mm-hmm. So, with that in mind, obviously I need to, tell him about the rent increase. So there's a notice of rent. I've got to give that 90 days. I've got to give him a bit of time on that to agree to. Because I guess think of it this way. If Brendan decides to move out, Sandra, we're going to have to re-let the property.
Yes.
And of course, there are lots of costs associated with that. We've got to put it back on the website. Potentially get some new photos done. We've got to find a new tenant. There's a lot of process to that, and that costs, and that's costing you money. So if we look at it, obviously the $10 increase per month, $120 per year, that's great. Let's make sure we're not paying that if we decide not to go with Brendan and he rejects the rent increase. That being said, I've done a rental appraisal, so I've looked at some properties in the area just to see where everything's sitting right now, and I will send this to you so you can have a look at it. So around the corner in Silver Street, number 22, which is 3 bed, 2 bath, 2 car, that's at $1,100 a week at the moment.
Okay.
Similarly, Edsel, just down the road there, 17 Edsel Road, 322, that's at $1,200. Fairly comparable property. There's a couple of things that maybe be slightly larger than yours. But so I think we're sitting in the comfortable space. And as a point of comparison, I just put in 38 Ewart Street. This is a slightly bigger house, more bedrooms, 4, 2 and 1, but they're going for $1,600 a week. So I think where we are is a sweet spot. But yes, you're right. I think $10 a week potentially would be accepted by our tenant. It's not a huge increase and is fair enough in the current market. So If I can give him the right amount of notice and he's happy with that and he ticks off on it, then we could probably increase it to 1,210.
Okay. Great.
Any other questions about where we're at with it all?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess sending through some details about what may need to be done to the property would be great, just so that we can have a look at the costs associated there.
Yep.
And maybe even the costs associated if we do need to relet. Obviously, if the current tenant isn't happy to stay for that extra 12 months.
Definitely.
So maybe just a whole list of those things we've discussed, and I think that's it.
Well, as per our communication plan, I'll make sure this is all documented. It'll be in the email, and I'll send you all that information. As I said, I'll get in touch with Brendan. I'll let him know that we're looking to sign him up for another 12 months, but the rent increase of $10 per week. If you're happy with that as well, obviously you've got the maintenance schedule that we've discussed previously. I'm pretty happy if you are.
Yeah, great. Thank you for the update, and we'll liaise over email and get it going.
Thanks so much, Sandra. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers. Bye.